and it's day 8. It's day 8.
Day 8.
Yes. And I said to Ambah, we were just talking about like animals, wild animals and things that they have, that I've never seen. Obviously, I've never seen a kangaroo. And we're talking about how this is not a wild animal. This is Peanut, and he wants to snuggle, and he's about to fall asleep on my shoulder. And he just, yes. But you were just telling me that the bigger male kangaroos are like a size of a person.
Yep, they can be 6 feet tall and really muscular creatures. So often walking in the bush, we'd see the 2 males sparring, like boxing kangaroo style, fighting each other to
that's not just in the cartoons. They really do that.
They do, yeah. Yeah, and it's common for them, yeah.
And do they roll around on the ground and like kick each other and stuff? Because those back feet have got to be powerful. And they have claws, right? And wow.
They have claws. I haven't personally really seen them roll. They tend to be more using their tail to hold them upright while they use their hands. But potentially they roll. They use their legs as well while they balance on their tail. Their tail is just so strong.
Wow. So I read something, and this could be nonsense. I mean, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. I read something about domesticated cats being only like genetically, they're only like 4% away from being a tiger. So really, I mean, he's 96%.
Little tiger.
He's 96% tiger. Yeah, you can tell Mam's full of it. That's okay, because he certainly doesn't look.
Are you giving me Tiger King flashbacks? That series.
I did not watch that. I didn't watch that. I did not watch that. I know several people did. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said a couple episodes ago, I have been known to watch some, trashy reality TV, but the Tiger King just felt like another level.
It certainly was. You can't make that stuff up. It's just.
I did not. But I mean, people have told me that I should. I just haven't brought myself to do it yet. I have too many other things. It was
kind of a mood too for it was our first lockdown period when that was showing, and so I started watching TikToks and memes, and it was just kind of quite entertaining thread to follow during that time.
Yeah. So you have kangaroos just like running around your neighborhood? I mean, are they just around?
Yeah, more so where we were in central Victoria, they would literally bounce down the street regularly, daily, and every day I'd see them in the bush. Here, it's coastal. I don't see them so much, although I did see a big dead kangaroo on the beach a few days ago, which was surprising because I don't really see so many kangaroos here. I see more wallabies though, and I love wallabies. They're like the little grandpa kangaroo. They're different. They're not quite a kangaroo. They're much smaller, and they're often alone. They don't usually hang out in mobs, so we call kangaroo mobs. Yeah, and they're just like the little wizard of the bush or something. Like, they're so cute. So I've seen a few wallabies around here.
And those are much smaller. Like, how tall is a wallaby?
Probably more like a 4-year-old. I guess is that about 4 foot or something? So, yeah.
Oh, like
much smaller.
Okay. You mean like a 4 or 5-year-old child? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Although that said, because we have moved coastal towns recently, the one where we were at, there's a big mob of kangaroos around there. I think it's just we're in a slightly more populated area, so they'll just be out on the periphery.
Yeah, do they hang out like and go through people's garbage cans and stuff, or what? I mean,
they're vegetarian, so they eat grass. Yeah. So they're more likely, if they're going to raid someone's house, to raid their garden, eat their.
Yeah, sure. Well, I was thinking
actually,
about like
wallabies
raccoons.
Are the worst. Yeah. The kangaroos will have a little nibble, but the wallaby will rip branches off fruit trees and.
Oh my gosh! So they're cuter, but they're more destructive, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Although I don't know that they're cuter. I just like them. I just like their little personality.
You might have to name a pattern after a wallaby at some point.
Yeah, rock wallaby. Yeah.
Something to think about.
Hmm.
Speaking of patterns, yeah, I noticed your rose today.
Oh, yes. I finished my rose yesterday and started writing it up, which I'm hoping by the time this video is aired, I'll have sent Jana a link to the pattern, which will be on my blog. So it'll be a free pattern
Oh,
that you
it's
can
lovely.
knit.
Look at that.
And
And
I
the
have a little clip
too.
on the back, so it
Oh,
can be
yeah.
in my hair, or I'm wearing it with my Bella Rose shawl. I thought that was a nice little combo. I'm calling it, what am I calling it? Festive Rose. So I think it'll be fun as a decoration.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's neat. So you'll have that pattern on your website, available on your website. And tell me again the name of the shawl that you're wearing.
Bella Rose. So this is
Okay.
one that I, maybe I'll show you, designed early this year. Maybe I released it around February. And I've knit, it's a beautiful silk blend.
Oh.
I can't remember exactly. I didn't. So it's a, let's see, it's a triangular shape that starts down this end, and you knit across
Yeah.
the bias shaping.
Oh, that's
And
lovely.
then at the end, this, so you knit to here and then bind off with the lace edge, so that
Right.
it's,
That's, yeah.
I don't know if you can see that very well. But
Yes, it's
yeah, it's really
beautiful.
lovely. And I've, yeah, used this beautiful soft pink colour.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't flick very well with the, the foliage. Yeah, Bella Rose.
And we'll put the link to that down below. I should sit up. I keep leaning back because he's heavy. Peanut's heavy. Oh my word.
Yeah, it's chilly again today, so I've got my wool jumper, shawl, bit of extra festive warmth.
Yeah, and it's about the same here. But I am wearing my, the poncho my mom made for me. I'm wearing that again because it was actually warm enough that I did not start the stove back here this morning. I didn't start the stove. So I'm like, it's not quite cold enough to start the stove, but it's not super comfortable without it. So I'm like, I'll just put on the poncho and hold the cat. And
Cozy up.
I think he likes the poncho.
He's so cute. Peanut. So how did Peanut get his name?
Well, there's a video on my channel that I'll link to down below about the story of Peanut, but you wouldn't have seen that. So let's see, his mother's name was Marmalade. And his mother was this color as well. And we just named her that because of her color. And we have several orange barn kitties. It's a family of orange tabbies. And there was Marmalade, and then Clementine, I think, is a cousin. They didn't have the same parents. My daughters can keep track of some of the parentage, but we had different dads running around. We have different barn cat, like feral dad barn cats. And so anyhow, so when Marmalade had 3 babies, there was Peanut, and he had a brother that looked just like him, and his name was Butter. And then there was a calico that we named Jelly. So we had Peanut Butter and Jelly were the 3 kittens. And so then Butter went missing. We think Butter got either taken by a hawk or an owl or a coyote. It happens. But Peanut just endeared himself. And when he was a baby, he was maybe 3 or 4 months old, and he fell in one of the cow water troughs. And it was very, very cold. I mean, he was about to freeze. He was literally he had icicles stuck to his fur. So we scooped him and, brought him in the house and put him by the stove and warmed him up. And my husband, had him bundled up in a towel. And anyway, so that was his first taste of being inside next to the stove, and he decided that was a pretty good idea. So after he was all warm and dried off, we took him back out to his family, out to the barn. And that lasted for another few weeks, but he really wanted to be an inside cat. He kept trying to DoorDash. He kept trying to get in. He kept trying to get in the house. So finally, we let him be in the house. And he was about a year old when he came in. And obviously he's 2 now and big. He's huge. And I made him, there's a pattern on Ravelry for a felted cat bed. and it's called the Kitty Pie, like PI, like the math, like pi r squared. And that's on my project page on Ravelry, or my projects on Ravelry. And we had a little flash knit along for the weekend that Peanut decided he was going to be an inside cat, and we agreed. And of course, we took him to the vet and got him neutered, and now he's spoiled rotten, obviously.
Aww.
And his Kitty Pie sits on my desk, and he loves it. He has a nap in there every day.
I love that he had an ambition of being a house cat. Have any other cats done that?
Not yet, but there's one. There's one out. His sister named Jelly. Well, Jelly had 3 little babies last August. And there's one of her babies that is so sweet. And she looks like a Seal Point Siamese. And Jelly's babies, like jelly beans. So then my kids named her babies licorice, mango, and coconut. Like jelly beans, right? Do you have jelly bellies? We always talk about candy. Do you have jelly bellies in us? Okay, so that's why. But coconut is like this rich chocolate, creamy Seal Point Siamese. But coconut, she's so sweet. I'm super tempted to bring her in the house too. But how many cats do we need in the house, right?
We've got about our yarn.
Oh.
I'll do mine first.
And I'll figure something out about Peanut here.
Day 8.
Day 8. Yay.
Yay. Ooh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Have a look.
And that was unexpected, but I love that.
Yeah, smoky quartz, and it does.
That was an unexpected shift, though. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Oh, so, it is.
There we go. It's very mostly brown.
But really. It goes with the gold. It goes pretty well with the gold, though.
Yeah. And actually, it's got a tiny bit of that purple that's in there. It's not quite purple though, but it's sort of very nice.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll see if I can do this here one-handed. Okay, so we're on day 8, and today's label. Oops, there we go.
Stockings. A Jana stocking.
Yes, and a couple of little socks there on the other side. Nice. All right, we'll see if we can manage this with the nut. This is color 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of a mauve, or even a little bit of a rose. I don't know if you can you see that very well on the light?
Yeah.
Huh, that's
beautiful.
And I'll try to take a better photo of that on my Instagram. But I'm inhibited. He's so sweet.
So today we've got another interview as well. At the end of...
That was so much fun to talk with her.
Oh, Jill, she's so delightful. Jill from Jilly and Kiddles. Jilly and Kiddles. Yeah. So that was fun, and visiting her studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been following her on Instagram since we met her for our interview, and she's a blast. Yeah, definitely you want to go check her out. Go ahead.
Although I meant to do my due diligence in research and watch the film, I won't say the name, that her kit was inspired by, and I didn't, sadly.
Oh, right. I haven't done it either. So her Advent kit was, Peanut wants down. Her Advent kit was inspired by the movie, what was it called? Fred Claus. I'm sure many of our viewers will have seen Fred Claus. I will admit I have not, but her Advent kit was inspired by that. And I've been watching her on Instagram, so I've seen her opening, the colors and stuff. And while I may not understand some of the movie references, the kit is lovely.
She did give us a peek of the whole kit, didn't she? Back in November when we filmed, she had made the wrap that we got to see in its full glory.
Yeah.
So we have seen a little peek. Since we weren't opening that kit, it wasn't a spoiler for us.
Right. But check her out on Instagram, and we have our interview that follows.
And she sponsored a beautiful prize for today as well, a lovely little set of minis. So thanks, Jill. Yeah,
Yay.
enjoy the interview with Jill. She's delightful.
All right.
All right. Hey, I'm Jana with Purl Together, and I'm here today with Jilly from Jilly and Kiddles and Ambah O'Brien, knitwear designer extraordinaire. So we're talking today with Jilly about her Advent kit. I'm so excited. Tell us all about it.
Well,
Actually, tell us about you. Tell us about you. Maybe Ambah, you should ask the questions because clearly I'm failing.
They're both perfect questions. Yeah, but yes, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your dye studio, which we can see there.
All right. Yeah, so I'm in the midst of it. It's a little bit unkempt right now, but there's always dyeing going on, so that's how it is, right? I'm Jill from Jilly and Kiddles, and I answer to Jilly. I answer to everything. Call me whatever, mom, all those things. And so I have a home-based business where I dye in hand-dyed yarn out of my home. And I'm in Rhode Island. I have 4 kids. I'm married with 4 kids. So the kids are the Kiddles. So many, many years ago, we had a little miscommunication with a preschool teacher, and one of my children said that, oh, we're mama's Kiddles. And she's like, oh, did he say kiddos? And there's a whole thing, but it turned out he said Kiddles, or she thought he did. And so we've called our kids Kiddles ever since. And somehow it worked for the business, even though my husband's like, because baby sheep. And I said, well, baby sheep aren't actually kids. Like, that's a baby, like goat, I guess, right? Is that a kid? So anyway, so that's what the kids are named after. That's what the business is named after. So there's a lot of stuff about my kids and, all my stuff. And that's fun, It's what my life is about. So yeah. And I started doing this about a year and a half ago. I opened my shop in February of 19. And then like almost as much of it has been a pandemic as hasn't been a pandemic. Like, it's really bizarre, So some people say, oh, well, how is your fall going? And I'm like, I've only had one other fall. Like, I don't know, like, so.
Yeah, well, I think it's wonderful. And more people are staying home and knitting, and staying home and knitting is a wonderful thing. And so I hope that your business is going well, despite COVID and all that entails. But I think it's fantastic. I mean, people are watching YouTube and knitting. Yay.
I know, it's perfect, right? Like, this is what we've been training for, people. We can stay home by ourselves and knit something. It's perfect,
Connect online too, which is fantastic. Yeah. So what inspired you to open up shop in February 19?
I don't know. I just decided to go for it. I can't really explain. I don't know if I have a great reason. I just thought I saw all these beautiful indie dyed yarns, and some I could get my hands on and some I couldn't. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that. I don't know. Yeah. It sounds crazy. It doesn't sound like a logical choice. Yeah. I just thought, I bet I could do that.
Logical. You're crafty and it's something you wanted to do. And then look what happened. I think it's great. So clearly you were a knitter or crocheter before. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mostly knitter, but I do both a little bit. I do a little crochet. I've been knitting since, I guess, 2005. I mean, a couple of times through my life, but you put it down and you never really get into it. But I got into it around 2005. I was pregnant with my 3rd, and it just seemed like the right thing to do,
Nice. So how did the two of you connect?
Through the Advent calendars and knit along. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I've been following you for some time, obviously, right? So I'm like starstruck, right? But we connected through the Advents. Yeah. Well, she does all the great stuff on Ravelry, where she has you can connect and find which Advents are available and which ones are sold out. And that's super useful. So I've been following that for a while. But I've actually never bought a yarn Advent before.
And now you've created one.
Yes, I now created one. Wow. I bought the Katrinkles. She has an Advent. I bought hers last year, and it was so much fun. Like, how could you not do that, right?
This is my first year, and I can't believe in all the years I've been knitting and all the Ambah patterns I have, I don't know. I've just never, this is my first year having a kit. I don't know why I've never done it.
Wow. Wow.
beside
We'll have to
myself
send you a
excited.
kit next year. I'll have to send you one too. So then you can have like an extra experience, right? But I did see you did a tutorial on how to like make your own minis and like put
Yeah.
together your own mini advent. And I think that's awesome. Like,
Well,
I mean, obviously
thank you.
I want to sell my advents too, right? But like, but I think it's amazing to have an opportunity to do something that fits within your budget and your own constraints, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you can't afford that. But
Right.
Still be special. Some people get their children to wrap up their mini skeins, so it's a surprise for them when they make their own kits, or swap with friends. So yeah, it can definitely be. Don't have to buy a whole kit to join the advent.
Right. But I have discovered the world of advent kits this year, and now I'm like, oh, I'm planning for next year and the year after that.
Pretty addictive.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
I
again,
love
Ambah
that.
has all these amazing patterns that are designed for minis, and I think that's brilliant. That's just fantastic.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
And
I
quite a
tested
few
it
of them
when-
I used my stash when designing, so I just put together a kit for my stash. It's definitely a good way of making an advent kit.
Well, and if you don't have leftovers, you can use full skeins. If you had, a sequence of colors that you thought was great, you can, figure out, well, how many minis could I get from this full skein, and then put together the color sequence that you want and all that. Yeah. Anyway, lots of fun. So tell us about the inspiration for your kit this year.
So my kit is a Fred Claus kit. I decided to do it about a movie, and it's my first one ever, my first advent kit. So I said it has to be about my favorite Christmas movie, and it's hands down my whole family's favorite. And I tell people that sometimes, and they either go, Fred Claus, I love it, or they're like, Fred Claus, like you guys weren't familiar with the movie, or they're like, Fred Claus, or and you get this funny reaction. And I said, well, have you seen it? They're like, no, but I know what it is. And I wouldn't be into that. And then I like to convert those people and make them watch the movie. And then they always like it. I have never shown it to someone and had them not like it. So I think that's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
So I sat and I had to research by watching the movie a lot, which is perfect. And I kind of like took notes, and I had some favorite scenes I wanted to make sure to capture, and I don't want to give anything away. I'm trying to think what you would have opened by the 8th and that you know about, but I can't think about it. But I have some different extras, and there's a project bag in there, and the colorways are like themed around different scenes and different like feels that happen in the movie.
And will they be in a more random arrangement, or have you got a fade worked out?
I have what I call a flow. So I don't know why I didn't call it. It's almost a fade, but to me, a fade is like super gradual, where you almost can't tell where one color starts and stops in my mind. I'm kind of a perfectionist.
So a flow is more like maybe not quite that gradual.
It's like they flow into each other. They're not quite as gradual. That's a good way to put it. And it's kind of like they make sense. They're going to make sense. They're going to change from one color to the next in a way that is cohesive and will make a beautiful project. So when you open it, you can follow it in order without having seen them. Trust me, right? and it'll make a pretty item, in order, but it won't be what you think of traditionally as a fade necessarily. But I did test knit the Radvent wrap, and I have it, but I'm nervous to show it because we'll have to do a spoiler, which you can do, right? So it's just my colors. So if you have a Fred Claus Advent, don't look at this thing. I don't know how to.
Okay.
We'll do 60 seconds.
I'll put up a spoiler screen right here.
Okay.
And we will assume that people who just saw that screen cutaway have looked away for the next 10 seconds.
Okay. So I finished, and it's so beautiful, Ambah. I love it. I'm trying to think if you can see it, but you can see, so the colors on this one, they go from the inside to the outside. So you can see that it does fade, because that's 24 different colors from here to here. But it's not exactly a fade.
Beautiful.
So I think it turned out great. The lighting, I don't know how to light it and have you see it, but I think it turned out nicely. So
but I agree, it's a flow. I think that's a great term.
Yeah, which works. But I think people definitely want to know that they can, and I put it away so you can look back.
Okay, you can look back now.
But I think people want to know that they can use it without looking, because you're like, I'm a perfectionist, right? I would want to open them all and just be sure, but then that spoils the fun. So if you can't knit along in December, if you're not sure. So I want to assure people that it was like safe to do so, and you should like it. So hopefully everyone does, right? But but I have my 8th color. Can I show that?
Please do, yes.
Okay. Unless it's like super in the morning and you haven't opened your 8 yet, just look away. So you open up your number 8, and this one is, it's called He's the Fattest Baby I've Ever Seen. Because there's a scene where this comes up. It's relevant. I know you haven't seen the movie, but it's hilarious. And it's a super fat baby. And of course, Santa, when he's born, is super overweight, because that's, it's the traditional Santa thing. Yeah, so this is it. Let's see if I can get the light. It's looking really blown out over here, but yeah, it's kind of has like a peachy pinks, like a golden peach mostly. And it's just, it's like, so if I could tell people who already have seen it, and who have opened their thing already.
And you can look back now.
Yeah, it's a scene where there's like all this golden light. It's, the olden days, like whatever. And so there's like a fireplace and it's all candlelit, and the whole place looks like warm and cozy and just like that golden peachy pinks. That's a whole scene to me. And that I had to capture that color and that feel in this particular skein. So luckily we fell on 8.
Clearly I have a thing about candy, but you know what that reminds me of? And I don't know if they have these in Australia or not.
Peaches?
It's the peach ring.
Yes.
You remember those gummy peach ring things?
It is those colors, yes. Boom, you did it.
Yes. Jana, because I don't know what it is.
Oh.
You don't have them?
We don't.
Oh, it's sort of like a gummy candy, but it's shaped like a little ring, and it's supposed to be peach flavored, I guess. I don't know. It's these colors. I don't want to hold it up again because people have looked back, but it's the colors of the fattest baby we've ever seen. And yeah, they're really good actually, because I don't always eat a lot of gummy candies, but I like those peach ones.
So do you have anything interesting coming up in the new year, Jill? What are you planning for 2021?
Yeah, so I tried something new this year with this sock club that I have. So it's a seasonal sock club. We call it Sock of the Month. I do it in collaboration with a local Rhode Island designer. I wave my hand like as if she's over here. Tracy, she's not here. So Tracy of Brit Stitchery, and we do a little collaboration. So I dye the yarn and we base it off of a season. We pick a theme. So like this one that's going out in next week is the fall, and it's based on the harvest. So I come up with a colorway and she comes up with a pattern that corresponds in, whichever way we decide. And then we send it out and it comes with little extras and it's like a surprise kit. And so I package them all up and they're all wrapped. It's like getting a bunch of little tiny things to open, so that's fun. And people buy them and it's a mystery.
Come out? Sorry.
Go. So it comes out 4 times a year. So it's seasonal. So it's, winter, spring, summer, and fall. But we'll be doing a whole new set for 2021, which I can't believe that's almost here, but like it's time to be planning. So yeah, we're revamping a little bit. It was our first time and we didn't know what we were doing. And we thought, we'll roll it out and you can either buy the first season or all 4 seasons. And we thought, well, no one's going to do that. Like that's quite an investment, right? And I was still new at that time. I wasn't a year old yet in my business. I thought no one's going to do that, but like 5 people did. And people buy it separately. A lot of people buy it separately, but 5 people bought the whole year up front. And I was like, oh man, now we really got to do it, So we got on it, and this year we planned it out.
Pre-orders, you're committed.
Yeah, exactly. And that was fine. We were going to do it anyway, but so it's grown every season and it's been a lot of fun. So we have a lot of plans for next year. This year we're going to do it more upfront. Like, so we'll have all of our themes already planned. We know kind of what our extras are going to be and what the colors will be, and not be flying like on the seat of our pants every season. Like, what are we doing now? I don't know. We better come up with something. So this way we'll be all planned, and those will be releasing I think probably by the time this is aired, you'll be able to buy some for next year, but we won't release it as a full year. It's going to just be like season to season. But I thought maybe we would do it like a subscription. So not a hard and fast, like you're not automatically billed but like you could, if you've done it last season, I could send you an invoice when they show up. You get first dibs to buy them before they're sold out. They're sold out.
Right.
So that'll be neat. And we're rolling out a new logo for the sock of the season. It's going to have its own thing, which feels really exciting. So my daughter, who's 19, she's almost 20. She does it on her computer for me. So she comes up with my graphics, and she did a lot of the Fred Claus graphics too. Just really fun, you know. And it's inexpensive.
Yes.
But I have the sock of the season for this one. So I haven't shipped them yet, but by the time this comes out, everyone will have received theirs already. So I can show this one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we do different things. We like to try, we've been collaborating with other artists for the extras. Sometimes we make them ourselves. It's always something handmade by a maker. It used to be us, and now it gets to be other people, because as you expand, like, it's exciting. So we have, I don't want to like show too much, but we have up the pattern. It comes in a little, you know, fancy thing, and you have the download code too, which is cool. And this is the colorway. That light, I'm not loving that light on it. Maybe I can try it without the light. It's very like golden when you knit it up. I don't have the sock in front of me anymore. It looks like super tan in this, but it looks kind of like fields of wheat, I guess, is like the thought in my head. And I feel like when you knit it up, you see it. On here, it doesn't look quite right. So I had to knit it a couple times to make sure it was like what I was looking for it to be. But then we did these little like hand balm lotion bars. And so Tracy made those, and then I collaborated with another person. Her name is Channy, and she's Channy P's Corner. And she, if I bring it in, I don't know if it'll get too dark, but she makes enamel pins. And so she did these. They're called, it says Soulmates. On my screen it's backwards. I don't know if you can see it the right way or not, but it says Soulmates. Oh, okay, good. And so the colors coordinate with the pictures we had for the club and the golden colors that I created in the socks. So I thought that was really fun. But I wrap everything up so when you get it, like, it's all a surprise, and there's a letter in there, and like, you know, so it's fun. So hopefully, it's been growing. So people seem to like it. My favorite thing in the whole world is when I ship them out and I see they're starting to arrive, and someone will like Instagram, "Oh, got my kit," and they're happy. That makes me super happy. But the ultimate is when, like, by tomorrow they ordered the next kit, right? Like I see it comes up, and I have an order, and they've ordered, they just got spring and now they ordered summer or whatever. And I'm like, oh, they love it. I'm so happy.
That's fantastic.
So, and we do, the other component is that we do a maker social. So when we originally started, we thought, oh, it's local. Like, we're both Rhode Island. Well, neither of us are originally Rhode Islanders, but we're both in Rhode Island now. And we thought, she has a little shop where they teach, it's called the Stitchery. They teach like knitting, crochet, sewing, embroidery, anything to do with stitching. Basically, they do. And so you can go in the shop and take lessons. But now, because of the pandemic, they really aren't able to do that. But Tracy also designs. So we said, oh, we'll do this thing. We'll have this maker social, and you can either get your kit shipped for free, or if you want to come pick it up, you come to the social and we'll have a little party at the Stitchery, right? And everyone can come, and like, it'll be super fun. So we only did it once because the entire world like just got shut down. So we only were able to do that. So now we do a virtual maker social, which isn't quite the same, but it does allow like everyone to go. You could be from anywhere and still come to our maker social. Like, you don't have to live close by. So it's actually been kind of cool, you know? And I had to learn Zoom.
It's fantastic. I mean, if there's one thing that COVID has done for me is really opened the possibility for this kind of thing. Like, I'm in Wyoming, you're in Rhode Island, and Ambah's in Australia. How fantastic is that? I mean,
so cool, right?
Even 5 years ago,
you should see my kids' faces.
Yeah, it's great.
At dinner, they said, so what do you have to go to? You have a call? I said, oh, I have an interview. I'm talking with some people. You know, I said, you know, they're like, well, where are they? And I said, Australia. And, you know, they're like, what? Like, mom is? Like, how do you know somebody in Australia? You know, it's kind of cute. So cool? It's opened up the whole world to us, right?
Yes. I see a lot of stuff on the table in the back. Is that anything you can tell us about, or is that secret?
I'm trying to picture what's over there. I can probably bring some of that yarn over. Yes, right. You're over here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I can go grab that. I have another thing to show too. So this technically hasn't come out yet, but it will have come out the weekend before this airs. So I'm a vendor at Knit and Escape, which is it was supposed to be an in-person retreat, but it got changed and then it got postponed. They said, let's do a virtual one. So we're doing that, and there are vendors and teachers and things. And so I have a new colorway coming out for that I designed to be a Rhinebeck release. And I have, a designer I'm working with. We had all these plans, and we're all learning to adapt and shift our plans, if nothing else, right? So this has just come out at this point for this video, but this is called Meet Me on the Hill is the name of the colorway, because it was inspired by Rhinebeck, right? Ambah, have you ever been able to go to Rhinebeck?
I haven't. I would like to, absolutely. But yeah.
One of these days, maybe one of these days, right? Well, of course, I'd love to go to Australia and shop for yarn too. That would be pretty amazing. So, but this is it. And so Deb Milstein, it's really hard to see. I can't quite figure out lighting for when it's dark outside with yarn. I've finally perfected the daytime, but there are some oranges and a mustardy golds and a little bit of burgundy and a dark kind of dusty plum.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So she created this new shawl, but this is just come out at this point. So the colorway is called Meet Me on the Hill, and it's available for pre-order. And there's this giant brand new pattern, a big stole called Together. And I think it's so cozy. It's really hard to capture it, but I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be popular. Maybe there'll be 1 million made by the time this airs. Maybe not, but on its way, right?
Great.
I can show you these guys.
Yes.
This is a new neutral set that I came out with, because you ever go to do something, you have these great colors and you picked it up somewhere, you're at a show or a shop and you think this is amazing, right? I have to have this. But then I sometimes find I come home, well, I have a lot of options for colors at home, but in the old days when I didn't have a dye studio in my house, I'd say, oh, I love this. What am I going to do with it? And I always was just a little bit short on yardage for what I wanted to make or whatever, right? So sometimes you need those other skeins that bring everything together, right? Whether it be a couple of different colors or something amazing that you really want to use and you need a little more yardage. So I thought I really would like to bump up the amount of neutrals available. So I created this new set. These all just came out, time is weird right now, but I want to say almost 2 weeks ago. Or it could have been 3 months. It feels like that, right? I think it was a week and a half ago.
You're done laughing because it's totally true.
It's true, right? Wow. So let me see. So I have these colors, and they are kind of a mix. This is sort of like a steely gray, but there are other colors in there called You Grind My Granite. One of my local customers, who calls herself my super fan, she's adorable, Joan. Hi, Joan. She was like, that makes me kind of blush a little bit. And I was like, what? And she goes, you grind my granite, makes me feel kind of a little uncomfortable. She goes, I still love it. It's fine, but it makes me giggle and kind of blush. I thought that was adorable. And I said, I kind of meant it more like, you grind my granite, you're making me annoyed, not, it wasn't amorous. It was more like Flo from Mel's Diner, kiss my grits kind of situation. This is called Graphite. And it is a really dark tonal gray. In here, it's looking it's darker than it looks here.
Looks like it's got some brown in it too.
It's because I had the wrong one. That one does have brown in it. You're right. It's a very good eye. This is granite. They slipped in my hands. This one is the dark tonal gray. It's similar to my old Cyborg, which was a big hit, but it's a little more even, I think. So when you knit it up, you get a more consistent product in my mind. This is called Coal Miner's Laundry. And this one does have different colors. There's a little bit of yellows and greens in there. There's sort of a burgundy and purple, all kinds of different mixes. And then there's sort of an overall brown black color, but you can see different parts. This is my very favorite one. So it's actually super colorful, but still tonal and neutral. And I think that really works with a lot of different colors. I have this one called Conifer, and Conifer, is it clear if my face isn't showing? Maybe. Yeah, so Conifer is sort of sage green is a good explanation. It sort of has everything in an evergreen. When you look at the trees, and sometimes they look kind of silver blue, and sometimes they look sort of green, the underneath looks different than the top. It has all those. When you look at it, you can see an evergreen, spruce tree kind of thing. This is called The Path Less Traveled. It's sort of a muted, medium-ish brown, medium to light taupey brown with a little bit of speckles in there, like a dark brown speckle.
And does it have it? Maybe it's just the lighting. It looks like it has a little lavender, maybe.
It doesn't.
Okay, it might just be the lighting. It might just be my screen. Yeah.
It has like there's a little bit of gray that I think might be pulling lavender in this light. But it's brown overall. When you look at it, you think of like a brownie taupe, but there's a little bit of grayness to it. This one is called Biscuit because it really looks like the inside of a biscuit to me. It's sort of a tonal parchment-y color. It's the best way that I could think to describe it. But those just came out and they've been pretty well received. People like those. So I made them into a little minis set too. You can get a kit with the minis. And
and what's the yardage? What's the yardage on that mini? Because I saw that on your Instagram. What is the yardage on the mini set?
The full yardage? I have it here. See, it's right here, so I can cheat.
I didn't
on the moment. I'm like, I don't know. The full yardage. So they're 20-gram minis, and each one has 79 yards. So the full yardage on this set of 6 is 474 on a sock base. This is fancy sock, which you can't really see it because of the plastic, but it's all those colors, just in minis. Sometimes I offer minis in different weights, but I didn't this time because there's like a really big problem with supply for yarn bases right now for dyers due to COVID, which probably everyone's aware of, I guess. I feel like I talk about it all the time, but I have some stocking kits going right now, which would still be available in December. So it's just called the stocking kit, and it's based on a like Christmas stocking pattern, not socks to wear, but like to stuff with. I was trying to think of how to differentiate that. It's the same thing either way, but you get a full skein. So like one of the sets, I can't think of which color set this one is called. I want to say Prancer, but I might be wrong. But this, so one set would come with conifer and also a skein of my low-fat milk in the same base, which is a DK, which is this color. This is not DK.
Called low-fat milk.
Low-fat milk. I was at a stitching group, a knitting group, and I said, "Oh, I'm not sure what to call this." And my friend Becky said, "You should call it like low-fat milk because it has a funny quality. Like it's not quite cream and it's not really white, but it has something to it. Like the way milk has that kind of like almost blued color. Do you know? It's exactly that. The minute she said it to be funny, but I was like, that's it. Like I knew on the way home, like that is going to be called low-fat milk. So it comes with these two, but it comes with a mini skein of this. And between when I came up with the idea and when it was time to execute and send out these orders, I can no longer get those minis. So here I am, like grabbing my DK skein of low-fat milk, and I break it down because I got to do it, right? So sometimes I do that, but mostly with minis like that in the little set of 6, they're already minis when I start, and then I dye them as minis. So the mini in here is going to look a little bit different than like the full skein would because full skeins take dye differently than less yarn in the pot takes it in all over a little bit more, and the more yarn you have in a pot, you're going to have sections that hit more and other parts might be kind of hidden and squished, so they don't get as much of the dye necessarily. And that's why you can change that by having larger pots or larger amounts of water or less yarn in at a time. And that's kind of how we play around to get whether we want it to dilute or we don't. So it all kind of factors in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's the story of why I don't have as many minis of those, but that's okay. But if I promise you a mini for something, you are going to get it. If I have to wind minis till my, I fall out asleep tonight, like I'll do it because that's what happens,
Right.
So you were able to get minis for your advent kits. You didn't have to hand wind all of those.
No, I did not. Those I bought ahead, and I thought, it was the first one. I thought, well, how many am I going to do? Right? Like not that many. Maybe I'll try like 10 or 15, see what happens. I ended up bumping it up, and I heard people saying like, oh, I'm having trouble getting this space, or I'm having trouble getting this full skeins as well. And I thought, oh my goodness, like it was really far away because this is maybe March. And I thought, well, what if I can't get those minis when I need them? Right. So I decided, that's it. I'm just going to bite the bullet and decide how many max I'm going to make and buy enough plus extra. So in case I have a bad batch or something happens, right? So I bought them all up front, like everything I purchased ahead of time. And then I had them sitting here and they arrived, and I have nowhere to put them. It's like there's all these minis coming out of my ears. And I thought, what are you doing? And about a week or two later, minis were not available for a while. There's a couple months where you just couldn't get almost any. And I thought,
wow. You're glad you did that.
Since. Mm-hmm.
And you sold them all. You sold out. Your Fred Claus kit is gone. It's sold out.
There's one. I can say that there's one aside right now, but by the time this airs, it won't be there because I have a wait list. But I had saved it. I thought, well, what happens? So mine aren't necessarily repeatable. Like they're all done and they all are the same kit to kit. But I don't know that I can make 24 new ones right now. And I hadn't planned to do it that way. So when I started, I said, well, what if I ship them out and something happens? Like occasionally something gets stuck in the mail or just disappears. Like you don't know. And I mean, you could refund somebody, but that's not the same as having your advent, right? So I said, well, let me keep 2 aside. If something happens, I could send them one of those. So one is mine.
Smart.
One is mine. As though this isn't being aired, right? One is for me and the other one is for someone else who he's the first on the list to get it for his wife. So once I know that they're all safe, that's why I keep like talking about it on Instagram because I want everyone to let me know that they have them. My software says that they're delivered, but like if you got something delivered and it was taken off your porch or something like that can happen. So I'm gonna wait out another week.
Great. You thought of every contingency. That's fantastic.
I hope so. It's funny when you do something for the first time, you always feel like something could go wrong. And so I try to think of everything, but I'm still I'll wake up in almost the middle of the night, what if this part broke? And my husband's like, it's fine. It's good. Like you bubble wrapped it. It's good.
You bubble wrapped it.
I almost shouted out what it was. And it's the last thing. Yeah, I almost just blabbed it. So I was like, the thing.
Well, I can't wait to see all the little extras as the days unfold. That's a fun thing about the knit along, everyone opening their packages, and I get to kind of live vicariously through all their different advents.
Well, and I've started following you on Instagram, and viewers, all the links down below, all of Jill's social media and all that will be down below if you're interested in following you on Instagram, and also obviously your website. And if people were interested in ordering your seasonal sock kits, I'll links to everything. So, and you can just go to your website, but I'll put your Instagram on there too if that's your kind of primary social media.
Yep. And I have a newsletter, so I send out a weekly newsletter, and then you can sign up for that on the website too. So that's the best way to keep tabs of everything, because the newsletter. I cover everything. In Instagram, sometimes you miss something. You forget, and then a few weeks later, you think, "Oh, I don't know if I talked about that really."
Did I post that?
Yeah. So,
you're scrolling back on your own feed.
I do that, yeah.
But signing up for your newsletter would be a good way for people to keep up with what's going on and when you have new things coming out. So.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
Thanks for joining us. It's been fun to have you. Your personality is fantastic. You have a lot going on, and it's really fun to be a part of that. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been super fun, and I knew it would be, but you get nervous. What if no one likes me?
We all
this has
have
been
that.
Fantastic. This is awesome. It's I wish we could all get together and grab some coffee or something.
We will.
This is the next best thing.
We will. Oh. Can't wait to come back over to America. Yeah.
Well, you have to call me. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Jill.